It is stupid hot here. I love it. It's wonderful. I enjoy the heat. I'm actually wearing a t-shirt and actually a little bit warm today. However, this hat was a bad choice. Sorry. However, that greenhouse is screaming hot. So I finally made the decision that I need to order a dang shade cloth. In fact, I was on the Bootstrap Farmer website trying to figure out what size, it's really windy, to order, and I wasn't too sure because I'm sure that you can tell this is not a traditionally built greenhouse with the traditional walls and all of the things. This is made out of cattle panels. So the traditional ways of measuring what you need is not gonna work. So we're gonna measure, see how much we need. So the smallest length that Bootstrap Farmer has is 20 feet. This is about 16 feet long, so we'll have a little bit of extra on the end. Not a huge deal. I'm not gonna stress it. So I'm gonna order, oh, this thing is broken. Got cut by a saw. So I'm gonna order a shade cloth. So we're gonna have to hold off for a couple of days before we put anything out here. Or, it's really hot here. It feels nice. Or we can figure out how to get this stupid window to work. Or we could get a fan and put it in here. All of which are options. We'll see what I do. Thanks to a friend of ours, we also have a fun project coming up. And that is... a mini excavator. We're gonna be digging up some soil. So the plan is, this excavator can't really get into some of the tighter spots that I need it to get into, but it can move dirt very easily and very quickly. The plan is basically to just create a giant mound of soil pretty much right where the excavator is parked right now, so that I can just use a wheelbarrow and distribute the garden dirt as needed. I'm gonna cover the dirt with a tarp to make sure that we don't get a bunch of weeds by the time that I'm ready to use it, because it's not all gonna happen overnight. But we can move the dirt in mass quantities with a combination of the excavator and my pickup truck. So I think I'm gonna do a little bit of evaluation today. I know I need to turn that into a window. I know, it is long past due, but I just don't wanna deal with it right now. And I probably will. I'll be honest, I probably will, but because I need to get some ventilation going on through here. But I wanna see how much it will actually help with that. So right now it is like 92 degrees in there, whatever it said on there. It's really hot. So let's punch this thing out and see how much of a difference it makes, and also see if having it open makes a whole lot of difference in the temperature in here at night, because it is dipping down pretty cold at night. It's just really hot during the day. Now we wait. We also need to start some tomatoes. We're waiting on the excavator because I don't know how to drive the excavator. I've never driven heavy equipment before in my life. However, my son does it for a living. So my son is about ready to go to the store and pick up some hydraulic fluid. It needs hydraulic fluid. It has a leak somewhere and it just needs to be replenished. So once he is back, he's gonna put in a few hours out here, and he's also gonna teach me how to drive an excavator. I was so pumped about this, you have no idea. The person who owns it has no immediate plans to use it. We can kind of just use it as long as we need it within reason. We'll probably have it for like a week or so. We have a lot of dirt to do. We have a lot of debris cleanup. This area right here is on the exact opposite side of the house where the other garden is. And this was logged. It wasn't logged. My husband, well, maybe it was logged at one point. Whatever. Anyways, when we moved here, it was just an overgrown pile of bushes, really small trees, and just kind of a useless space. I think it's because the people who lived here before us, as I'm sure you can tell by the fence posts that are already installed, they most likely had this as a pasture of some sort. I'm guessing goats based on word of neighbors, but I think they had them fenced on that side. So it's probably pretty nutrient dense soil. I'm just guessing that based on the orientation of the insulators that are on the poles. So we are planning on turning this into pasture for the pigs, but next year, that's gonna be garden. So we're just gonna put our pigs to work in here for several months. Sorry, the wind is blowing crazy, so I gotta take breaks when I'm talking. So with the help of the excavator, hopefully we'll be able to get some of these little tree trunks that are sticking out. We can help to kind of dig it out or pull it out clear a bunch of the debris. Unfortunately, the excavator doesn't have like the thumb part of the claw on there, so you can't like grab it, but we can push it, we can grab it, we can, you know, all that sort of stuff. We should be able to clear this area out pretty good. Turn the pigs loose in there for several months, just let them completely decimate the ground, and then we can tarp it for over the winter, and then next year be able to turn this into a lovely garden plot. It's actually really big. There are trees on the other side, so that is going to stop us as far as how far that way we're going to push it, because, you know, it just won't get full sun. But over here on this side, it's going to get enough sun. It's going to get more than enough sun of what we need. And the nice part about this is that we can orient the beds north-south, and I can finally do my experiments that I want to do with electroculture. And speaking of electroculture, I got my copper wire so we can start working. I kind of have I have what I think is kind of an interesting experiment that I'm going to do with the copper wires, because it's not gardening season. However, it is just about time. The grass is starting to turn green. It's just turning into that season, so we can experiment on the weeds. Basically, my plan is to make several of the... I think it's just a little too windy out here, so let's go inside so we can chat. Inside the greenhouse will work. So my thinking is I'm going to experiment with the weeds that are already in my garden. I'm gonna make the antennas. I'm gonna make the coils, I guess you would call it, and I'm gonna put them in the ground. And we're gonna see how well the weeds grow around the antennas. I think it's fun. I'm definitely still in the process of learning about electroculture. I am, however, very fascinated by it. So there's a learning process. If you all have any experience with electroculture, be sure to let me know down below. Found it? Sweet.
Not much, but should be enough.
I'm gonna experiment with a couple different types of antennas. Some of them call for you to kind of wrap the coil all the way up like a wooden dowel, and then make like almost like a tornado looking contraption at the top. Some just have like a length at the bottom, and then like a section of tightly wound coils, and then another section at the top, and it's you know, much shorter overall. And you just stick that in the ground, and it's supposed to help within like 3 feet of it. So we're gonna try an experiment with several of them, but I think it seems like kind of the perfect time, because I'm not going to be putting anything in the ground until, well, I will be putting colder weather crops in the ground in about a month or so, but you know, like the actual bulk of the crops aren't going to be going in the ground until like May, early to mid-May. We'll see what the weather does for us, but I think it seems like a pretty good time to check all this stuff out, and then at the end of it I can just weed it. So it's like the only thing we're experimenting on is weeds, not actual crop. And we'll have a fairly decent answer by the time we're actually ready to put the crops in the ground. So, yeah. I would say let's go inside to experiment because of the wind, but I don't want to go inside. It's nice and hot and toasty, and I'm getting my vitamin D going on, at least on my forearms. I'm getting my farmer's tan going on. So I'm just gonna make a bunch of these coils, and then hopefully the wind will die down and I can share with you what I've done.
the big rocks, you may as well kick them out. I've just been tossing them in this little, right here, yeah.
All right, so we got, talking to the camera. So we got 2 loads done. It is getting late. There are a ton of rocks over there. So Malachi is just gonna spend the next little while trying to sift through it, get a bunch of the rocks out, and then we're gonna pick this up tomorrow. So I did get a few of these guys done. Can you tell? It's just like these little spirals with these long ends. I probably made it a little bit longer than I was supposed to, but from what I understand, I don't think it'll do any harm. Got 2 of those made. And then I happened upon this stick, so I made this thing. What is biting me? Bugs are back. Anyways, got this little, now you can see it. Woo! And then I've got this long one. It's probably 6 feet tall. And we're gonna do the same thing to this one. We have a nice tall antenna. That's where I am so far. We'll see how the rest of it goes. My battery's about to die, so I'll see you guys tomorrow. I gotta be totally honest, that was one of the funnest things I've probably ever done in my life. I now want my own mini excavator. That was so much fun. I had to stop. It's got like a hydraulic leak and it was starting to feel a little bit rough, and my son went to the store to get hydraulic fluid and oil and a couple other things, and he told me if it started to ride a little bit rough, then to just shut it off and it needs more hydraulic fluid. So that's what we did. Let's go bury some copper. We got our weird little antenna thing. My understanding is that this part right here needs to point north. These need to be put in the ground to where when you're looking down on it, the spiral is going clockwise. So I think I'm just gonna randomly pick a couple spots. So I'm definitely going to be bringing you guys along as we are building up our garden beds, but for now we're just digging dirt. It's going to be a long process. I'm definitely feeling kind of, I don't know if I'd say an urgency, but definitely feeling an importance to building some extra garden space and having the most productive garden that I'm able to do. The world's kind of crazy right now, so you never really know what's going to happen. So building up a little bit extra garden space as much as we're able to do seems a bit practical, prudent, smart. Seems like a good move, whatever word you want to use. I'm feeling like it's important, so we're gonna do it. If you have any input on electroculture, any sources that you can give me that is a good place to kind of learn about these sort of things, because it does seem fairly technical. It does seem like some things can have a little bit more leeway, some things need to be a little bit more exact, more pointed, more specific. So I'm very intrigued by it and I want to learn more. So if y'all can direct me in the direction that would direct me there, let me know. In the meantime, check out what we did last time in this video right here, and peace out, sauerkraut.